it's not alumnus or alumna. It's basically someone who is serving there, and that is Dr. Muhammad Ishtiaq. Dr. Ishtiaq is a director academics at Quaid-e-Azam University. His biography, he completed his master in 2003 and later selected for 5,000 PhD scholarship program of HEC, enrolled in PhD program and completed PhD in 2019 in microbiology from Quaid-e-Azam University, Islamabad, Pakistan. So we biotechnologists, microbiologists, we have a lot more association, collaboration, and we share a lot more things together. And particularly in COVID-19, I think hopefully, we colleagues across the world, they are working together, and we will be having soon, let's pray, some good vaccine or some antiviral so that we can get rid of this pandemic and go with our normal lives. So during his PhD, Dr. Ishtiaq worked at Faculty of Life Sciences, University of Manchester, UK. He joined Kalyan University as PhD qualified lecturer in 2019. He did his postdoc from University of New South Wales, Australia in 2012. He has 11-year teaching and research experience in microbiology. Wow. A young, dynamic, and handsome guy. He has 51 MPhil. He has produced 6 PhD research scholar and published 63 impact factor scientific paper in ISI journal and author 2 book chapter. He won several competitive research grants also from the HEC and Pakistan Science Foundation. Some of them are completed and some are in the process. I think I have to save some time because I have almost, half is left over. So I think I can save few minutes, Daksa, so that you can share your thought with us. Welcome, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Mukhtar. Just for audience, Professor Mukhtar is also my mentor. He used to be my teacher once. He was his, short-term engagement as
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you well.
And can you see my slides?
We can see it. Your slides are being shared.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much. First, I'd like to say thanks to Murtaza Noor for bringing me up to this, very valuable and wonderful forum. And I must say, I thoroughly enjoyed, Dr. Gul Afshan's lecture. And meanwhile, I was feeling proud to be part of this, she's also alumnus of our university. And the way she started up the, focusing on the online teaching, and then she composed how to be an attitude of the teacher and how to engage your students in a lecture. That was so amazing. Honestly, for the time being, I was thinking that after her so comprehensive talk, does my talk need any value or importance for that? But anyhow, as I have been advised to share, online exam policy, what we are doing at Pakistan and particularly in Kalyan University. So I'll just, keep my presentation short. I know, going through such a wonderful presentation, people like to have the same, passion as well. So I just try to keep my presentation on the basic points, what we are following at Pakistan and what we are doing at Kalyan University. So as we knew, world is passing by an unprecedented situation. This COVID-19 that brought, that changed everything, that changed perception, that's changed approach, that's changed the need and technology. Before that, we used to listen about few virtual universities. There were some universities which were tasked to have virtual online courses, but this COVID-19 transformed the complete picture of, not only higher education, but also school education. So now everyone has to move towards to this, online teaching. And yes, this is a need, of course, just to, it's not all about completing a degree, a research, or school program, but this is just to engage our youth. If we just see the last 6 months, how the world was going on. So this online or this continuity of education was the need of the hour and the need of the time. So quickly, starting from my presentation, As Murtaza told, I'm an alumni of QEU, Kalyan University. I'd just like to give a brief introduction of Kalyan University to all of my audience. We are one of the best research university in Pakistan, and we have four faculties: Faculty of Social Sciences, Faculty of Natural Sciences, Faculty of Biological Sciences, and then we have Faculty of Medicine. So we have more than 10,000 on-campus students, and then we have affiliated institutes and colleges with us. They are doing. We are, when the university was established way back in 1970, its charter was to start a research program, but later on to cope up the need of the youth of the country, we started a master's program and then of course undergrad and so on. So quickly coming to the point, as Dr. Gulaf Shah, I must say, she elaborated in such a wonderful way. We all knew why there is a need of this online education. That's the rationale of today's talk, that why we need to start, why there is a need of online education, because we want to continue, we want to ensure the continuity of the education. We want to engage our youth, we want to engage our students, either they are school age level, at university level. We want to, of course, we want to fill that gap that is happening due to the not having a physical classes. So like the world, we also at Pakistan initially are, at HEC level, Higher Education Commission, they basically brought in all the vice chancellor, and Professor Mukhtar also attended those couple of, meetings at HEC. Those vice chancellors were tasked to formulate a policy that how to ensure. Before going in, one-to-one detail, I just like to say Pakistan, particularly like many other countries, we are developing country, and particularly if I give example of my university, we have students from all part of the country. My international viewers, just for the information, we have that much of challenge of connectivity because we have many of students from those areas which even don't have access to mobile signals. We even don't have access to electricity. So that was a big challenge for us. Now, how to implement a uniform policy, how to place such a system that could be uniform across the board. So we have exhaustive meetings at our university, because at our university we have students coming from all our provinces, far from areas where there is challenges of connectivity, where there is a challenge, financial challenges of having smartphone or laptop. But on top of that, even there are part of the countries from where we have students, those have challenges of even electricity. So we try to formulate a policy that could be helpful. Our focus was, our expectation and focus was just to engage students. We knew that this was not an ideal situation, this is not an ideal situation, but our task was, our motivation was how to keep engage them, how to involve them, so they should involve and they should continue, how to ensure their teaching. So when we started up, by formulating policy, there was certain, challenge was connectivity, challenge was availability of, resources, challenge was different things. So at our university, what we did our homework. First of all, at our university level, each at a department level, we collected the data. We collected the data of the connectivity, we collected the data of the resources, we collected the data, and then we thought about that, how to facilitate them. Of course, there are many things which are not at our hand, particularly providing electricity to far-flung area. That's an administrative issue. Providing the connectivity, 3G or 4G signals, that was another challenge. So we basically, all the vice chancellor of the public sector universities, they presented that data to the HEC and the Minister of Education. And then we had, suggested them to have at least extend that connectivity. And of course, at our university level, what we did, we thought if there is an issue that a student don't have an access of, internet, if you don't have an access of 3G or 4G connectivity, or if you don't have an access to a smartphone or a laptop, how we can ensure the teaching. Later on, I'll show you about our QU university policy, how we are going to implement it. And I can proudly say, we, at the moment, we are, conducting our terminal exam. We have a successful midterm exams at campus, more than 10,000 students. And then, of course, we have exams of more than 5,000 students of affiliated colleges. So we tested this system. So before, because our charter was not an online university, we were not a virtual university. So this was something new, though our teachers are very well versed of that online teaching tools, because they are, they are very familiar to the online presentation and other things. But of course, this was a complete shift of, dynamics of teaching. Dr. Gulab Shah was mentioning about Professor Salim and one of other, few very good colleagues of, very senior teachers. Uh, there are number of subjects where whiteboard or blackboard demand, that's the demand of the lecture, where it's very hard to implement the presentation based, soft lecture based presentation. So we work on each and every aspect, and how to ensure, how we can, make sure that connectivity, how we can make sure the smooth, learning aspect. So before moving to that, once we formulate our examination policy, there were 4 to 5 basic principles that were kept in mind, because it was not only a challenge of online teaching, because in that case there was different possibilities were there. As Professor Afshan mentioned, there are a number of online free softwares, there are only a number of free lectures available there. There are a number of opportunities online available, but at university level, the first task was to set up a LMS, learning management system. So we basically started up with having our own learning management system. Then we thought how to move all students on a uniform system. Like where there is easy to connect, where it's easy to have attendance record, where it's easy to interact, where it's easy to have interaction and assessment. So at Kalyan University, initially, for when there is a preparatory phase, we ask teachers to look around and see how they feel themselves, easy with some particular software. So we started up, we gave them a free hand to just look around. So teachers started up by doing Zoom lecturing, teachers started up by doing Microsoft Team-based lecturing, teachers started up by doing, Google Form and another way. Even in some cases where there was, issue of connectivity, where there is a limited 3G or 4G signals, there the teachers started making their own videos, and they started, sharing those videos to those students. Even in those areas, for those students where there was a serious challenge of even having the availability of the signal, we started up sending, lecture notes via postal thing. So that was, a long journey of 2-3 months for, for our learning and training as well. But of course, there is always room of opportunity. And since this online or virtual education was a new aspect for us, but still our faculty, our students, staff, everybody at Pakistan, even uh, considering that we have a limited resources, but still people are putting maximum efforts to ensure that. Biggest challenge was, exam policy, because lecturing is not that much difficult task, because either that could be possible by direct delivering the lecture through Microsoft Team based, Zoom based, or by sharing your videos or sharing your notes. But of course, at university level, we are awarding degrees on the basis of the percentage, either it's a GPA or CGPA, or whatever the percentage in different academic programs are. So it was a big challenge how to ensure a smooth, a successful assessment system. As I earlier said, we all knew we are going through an unprecedented situation. COVID-19 is not, something in our control. Even a country like America, that's passing by a toughest phase of their, their life actually. So even the rest of the country, they all are, people. The government focus is how to save lives, how to ensure, different aspects. So online assessment, we at HEC level and at Kalyan University, we set up certain principles before formulating a policy. What to see, what to do, what principles, assessment policies university should prepare. They need to keep these principles in consideration. First, in our country, we promoted students at school level without grading them based on their previous grade. But at university level, this was a difficult task to do so, because you know it's a degree program. It's you're going to in a market, you're going to get a job out of that. So it was very hard to promote without proper assessment. And of course, then how much percentage somebody gonna get, and how you know weightage of that degree would be. So it was initially, we thought that there should be a policy where there's a need of assessment. And of course, there was another consideration that we should work, you know, day and night. So formulate a policy that we should not waste the time. Because as I said, like the whole world, first 2 3 months were very, unexpected for a country like us. I mean, there was no clear, even I'm a microbiologist. Having said that, even I was not, sure about the world. Microbiologists were not sure about how that's corona going to affect our economies, how corona going to affect our education system. So anyhow, our prime focus was how to save that time, how to ensure, the learning aspects. So we kept in mind all those aspects that Professor Gulaf Shah mentioned, that how to interact them, how to make that knowledge transferable, how to make that knowledge communicable, how to develop their learning and communication skills. So we formulated that, can we just simply put them pass or fail? That was another, criteria that was under consideration. And then, of course, like Professor Mukhtar mentioned, the aspect of, to how we can avoid the cheating or plagiarism in case of, assignments and cheating. Because you see, our youth is very, I must say, even if I compare my kids with me, I mean, they are tenfold or I guess 50-fold sharper than us. They knew how to Google it. They knew how to, misuse the technology. Although technologies are for our good faith, but this was the biggest challenge. I believe, being director academic, I personally studied different models, even of America, Korea, Britain, and even certain European countries. Even they have a challenge how to ensure that there would be no cheating in that online assessment program. Of course, there are many possibilities, like Professor Afsham mentioned, that we can have an open book exam, we can have a short questions, we can have a time board exam, but of course that was a real task, a real challenge. So quickly coming to Kalyan University, when we set up, we had a lot of discussions that how to start up, because we at university level we have an undergraduate program, then we have a MPhil PhD program. So both things were under consideration, how to have effective assessment of those undergrad and postgrad program. Uh, Pardon me, because I was asked to share our exam policy. So rather than sharing few bullets, I thought it would be very helpful for the audience and for all the attendees to have overview of our policy. So if they like to ask some questions, if they like to make some points, that will be even helpful for me or for them as well. So we basically, once we were under consideration that how to conduct exam, the first thing was, as I said, lecturing was quite, going well through at our university, Cal University. We adopted LMS system. We started up, we basically created Microsoft Team IDs of all the students. We tried to provide them actually all the facilities which we can provide them, which are under our, financial limitations. And we organize, we arrange training sessions for teachers, for mentors, how to, get familiar with this online teaching skills. And also we prepared certain, videos and guidelines for students, how to get familiar with this online teaching. Because there are two clients in online teaching. One is a mentor, teacher, and another is a student. So their training and their, it was very important aspect. So the midterm exam, first thing that we basically realized that, by studying different models of West and developed countries, that there is still a chance, if we go on, objective questions, there is still a chance of cheating or plagiarism or something like that. So we propose that there should be some part of Viva based exam in that you see midterm or terminal or final term exam, just to ensure, though it wouldn't be, you see, it can't, replace that full, sanctity of that exam, but we suggested it should be 40 10% ratio, that you see more weightage would be given to the you see particularly objective part of exam, and then it should be weightage should be given towards the oral Viva. Like in undergraduate program, it's very common globally in Western countries or in Asian countries or in other part of the country. We engage students by providing them certain number of assignments, presentations, quiz, you see projects. So we just try to, you see, slightly scale up the percentage of that thing, because we just want to limitize the maximum, you see, weightage of that written based paper where there is a more chances of, you see, cheating. This was just done due to, you see, to reduce the percentage of cheating or percentage of, possibility. I won't say percentage actually, the possibility of, that, fear that they might cheat and they might, you see, copy paste and they do such things. We just increase the, you see, ratio of, assessments, internal assessment, like where usually we give, you see, 10 to 15% or 50 to 20% percentage to the internal marks. We enhance up to the 50% level. So we basically did our 15 to 30% percentage was given to the assignments, quiz, presentations and projects. So student can engage, teacher can engage the students either individually or they can engage students in group base. So they, you see, there is more chances of their purity, creativity, skills. So teacher would have a liberty that he can assess or she can assess those projects, their assignments. For the assignments we propose, you see, we communicated to the student, though at Kalyan University, we have this standardized policy that we do that plagiarism. We have a turnitin software that is provided by Higher Education Commission. So we told students that, see, look, every assignment you're going to, upload or submit, that has to be going through that plagiarism software. So you have to write it down in your own words. So basically, we basically tried that how we can, you see, make it more pure, make it more student-centric, making more student, based input in there. So basically, the midterm exam, the midterm evaluation in our system, that carries 50% of weightage. In that 50% weightage, we gave 30% weightage to that internal exam before that midterm exam, to the assignments, to the quiz, to the class presentation, and to the projects. And then you see, we gave 20% weightage, 30% weightage to our midterm exam. And in that midterm exam, we also suggested, in addition to our, you see, we suggested to our faculty that they should prepare objective or short questions. That could be, you see, because as I told, there was not only a challenge of, you see, this thing, but the challenge is to ensure the connectivity for the 30 minutes or 1 hour, or even, for the 2 hours of the exam period. So to avoid that, we suggested our teachers to prepare such type of quizzes to such time of, you see, exam that could be completed in, shortest possible time. So we advise them, they could have, you see, MCQs based papers, they could have, you see, short, question based paper. But there was a challenge, particularly in the subjects of mathematics, in the subjects of, you see, social sciences, in the subjects of physics, where there's more equations, where there's a more theoretical aspect is that. So we basically advise them to use, there is an integrated, part of whiteboard in Microsoft Teams. That is a software, that is a module integrated in our learning management system that we're using. So we advise them they can use that. And in addition to that, we have, established 3 to 5, standardized, you can see smart classrooms, you can see studios, where there is a issue for our teachers who can't, you see, write it down those, equations, mathematical equations, we develop those studios and, smart classrooms where they can easily work on their whiteboard and blackboard, and they that have a, clear, communication like we do it at face-to-face teaching level. So after, these were the steps we basically taken at campus level, at class level, just to we develop certain, smart classrooms, studio-based lecturing, particularly in those subjects where there is a more involvement of mathematical equations, where there is more involvement of, sketches and other things. Rest of the lectures where there is multimedia based, or slide based, that are very easily going on, on in this Microsoft Teams and other that. We also, as I mentioned, that we have a student from, all part of the country, particularly even from those areas where there is even no access of electricity. So what we did actually, we provided, them soft lectures. We provided them lectures through postal courier. So just to ensure, because our objective was at our university level, we focused that just to ensure teaching process. We knew there are challenges, and even though we knew that there are possibilities of, cheating in other ways, but of course we just want to engage our students. We just want to, let them to come out of that fear of that corona, and we just want to be, engage more in their studies. We don't want to waste their time. So we have a very wonderful exercise of, our midterm exam. Our teachers, we provided them training sessions for that. They properly, went through their training session, and they did. And meanwhile, we established a help desk, even at university level, at direct academics level, and we advise each and every department that their course coordinator should act as, they should provide, you know, guidelines, services to the teachers and to the, students, whatsoever maximum time they can do. So we just want to, if there is a technical issue, our network team was all the time on board. If there is, any other issue, what was under our purview, we tried our best to engage our all, possible pillars to ensure that smooth learning. And of course, I must say, everybody took their responsibility. They put their maximum effort in that. Still, there are many issues. There are many challenges which are unavoidable, because connectivity, load shedding. These were the tasks which were, which which we can't have a control of that. For that, we propose that if a student appeared in an exam, and if he, during the exam, he's a help connectivity, he's a net, or electricity breakage is there. So we gave them a second chance exam. We scheduled an alternative exam, a paper for all those students who have a connective issue, because though it enhances, a burden on our teachers or our examination system or our technical part, but we just want to help as maximum to our students, so they could be, properly have gone through those exam process. So beside that, we also advise teachers, if there is an issue where they can't have, Microsoft Team or LMS-based lecture, even they can share their lecture videos to the students through WhatsApp videos, or even through courier and other ways. There was another challenge, that was of lab, because we are research university, and particularly we all knew in biological sciences and in natural sciences, there are many subjects which are lab based, which are, wet science based activities. So this was another challenge, how to ensure that, laboratory experiments, how to ensure that lab based engagement. So for that, we propose that either, a teacher can share the standardized, online available, lab protocols by, properly referring them and quoting, the permission of that publisher. And we also encourage the teacher to prepare demonstration videos of those lab practicals at the laboratory by taking all SOPs, and then share those with those, the students, and then have a, discussion and, question answer session with them. So basically, this was our approach, that just to ensure, because there was initial thought that we can postpone those lab exams for the next semester, but of course we knew that the student had to be promoted on the basis of their, you see, GPA, CGPA. For that, they had to clear those lab exam and lab, courses as well. And you see, in addition to the lab exam, we introduced the concept of, you see, Viva based examination. We basically propose that in addition to a midterm written objective paper or a final term objective paper, there should be some proportion that should be given to, you see, oral assessment. And that oral assessment won't be like, you are going to ask anything, from the syllabus, but that was, primarily focused just to double check, you see, the way they attempted it in a paper. That should be more towards that, objective paper or short paper that they ask in midterm or annual term. In addition to that, there was another challenge of, you see, online assessment. This was all about class teaching, classroom teaching of undergraduate program, postgraduate program, because we have a coursework in the PhD. There is many European countries, there is no coursework. We have a coursework in the PhD. These all, you see, policies were for the coursework program of, you see, teaching mode, where we preferred all these, modes. The another task was, you see, how to assess, because at our university, to get eligible for the award of, research degree, MPhil or a PhD, that is a research based. There are certain, you see, requirements of, online seminar, you see, online, comprehensive exam. So we basically trained our teachers. We allowed through our academic council that we started conducting our online, you see, MPhil exams. We started conducting our online PhD seminars. We started conducting our own PhD exams, because it was a challenge to bring students at the campus for their PhD, final seminar. So we tried to, you see, as maximum we can go for, you see, these online assessment tools and online processes, particularly in number of courses, like, number of programs. There are condition of research project, particularly in undergrad program. We have a scheme that a student can opt optional courses, or he or she can choose research report writing. So for that assessment, we also formulated that policy that they can go for that online seminar, online Viva, online exam, online PhD defense. Or all this exercise was just to, you see, maximum facilitate the student, because as I said earlier, we were initially not charted as a virtual university, and there are many universities in the world. For them, this virtual mode of, teaching was a new, and we knew there are still in developing, not in developing countries only, in developed nations, universities are getting, people, faculties or students having this, issues of connectivity and all those things. But we at Pakistan, particularly our education sectors, our, even our government, or even our university level, we try to as maximum facilitate the student as maximum we can by, adopting such a way where we can give them more freedom. We slightly relax them in terms of, punctuality or, attendance, but we gave them, you see, 2-3 chances of appearing in the same exam. We gave them, you see, this, liberty that even there is a connectivity issue, they can opt for, you see, sharing their PDF snapshots, or even they can share, snapshots of their, written paper to us in between that specified time that is basically allocated for them. So I must say, I mean, if I share, example of Kalyan University and experience of Kalyan University, at the moment we are at the mid of terminal exams. Till this date, there are almost, I guess, it's a 1 week of terminal exam, commenced in. So we are doing it, at large, we are doing it at satisfactory level. Though there is a challenge and issue of, 4 to 5% students who don't have access, but still we are trying to facilitate 95% of students by going on online. by providing them all those alternative tools. We provided them all, like Horace said, I mean, Professor Gulaf Shah gave, the list of certain softwares and the websites. We provided them all those websites and, online free access, digital library access, so where they can have a more access of those online content. And we basically tried to help them out. We provided to, facilitate them so they should take part in that, because we our focus was not to, pressurize them to have this online teaching. So this was, all about from my side. Uh, uh, I'll love to answer your question. Sorry for my speed, because I knew you guys were online since last, you started up at 5 o'clock. So I was just trying to complete it as earliest as possible. And since most of the part was already covered by Dr. Gulaf Shah, so I just tried to specifically with the, nitty-gritties and the way of the online exam. So I'm here for discussion. Over to Professor Mukhtar, and thank you very much again, Murtaza Noor Saab and Professor Mukhtar and all the audience. Thank you.
Dr. Ishtiaq, thank you very much for sharing your great experience at one of the best institutions of the country, the Quaid-e-Azam University. You really deserve to be a director of academics, and you are really doing your part, because I was looking at the comments. Dr. Gul was also commenting, lot more good things about your efforts. And everybody, I can see the people still, they are hanging around with us. That shows the interest of everyone in your as well as the first lecture. So it's so intriguing. This evening, I think we covered a lot, but we won't let you go. I think there should be a couple of questions, though we have crossed our time limit. So, but I think questions are must. So anybody has a question? Professor, doctor, yes, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Actually, I have a question how to take a written test online? You haven't mentioned about that one. Say, for example, in a part of the exam, if I want to take a written test, can it be taken by using a video and then by using some dynamic question or dynamic value question, or how can actually we do it? Can you please give a shade on this one?
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. I'll share my presentation with you. We have mentioned that, what we did at our university, we opted LMS integrated with Microsoft Teams. In Microsoft Teams, there is an inbuilt feature of, preparing, quizzes and short questions. Those are Google Form based or Microsoft based, question. So basically, all you need to do have a short questions like we do at our, regular exam. And we allocated, it depends. Are you going to give them a long question, or are you going to give them short questions? So we basically integrated that, exam in such a way that you can ask your questions, and students have an option that even they can reply on those, provided space online through their, online, laptop or by other way, or even we gave them this liberty that they can print it out and they can just fill it out, and they, send us, the scan version of that. So objective, particularly in Microsoft Teams, I don't know, you are familiar with that or not, but that has a wonderful feature in that. You can have a quiz, MCQs based quiz, that is so much, that have a, completely different for 40 students. It has an option that you can create different, ratio of that. And even for short questions, you can have inbuilt, you can ask them sketches, you can ask them to write it down. It depends. You are going to ask a long question, theoretical based question, a short question. But at our university, we use that Microsoft Teams software that have a, Google Form based or Microsoft based, this integral part where student can write it down and they can submit. one part I just missed it out. In this LMS or Microsoft Team, we have additional feature, even particularly for the short questions or those MCQs. I mean, there is soon students submit their assessment. If you put in your keys, it automatically assess like a GRE and give you result just seconds. So even student can access their result, what grades they are opted in that. But in case of written portion, they have to write it down and teacher has to assess. Either online, he has to assess them and they communicate the result, or if they are going to send in through email by scan or PDF version, they can assess and they can share with those students. I hope I address your query.
Yes, thank you very much. Actually, I was asking about longer questions, not MCQ. MCQ actually we can do it because by using some Google form we can generate different MCQs for different students and we can do it. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mohammed.
One more question.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. My question just takes the lead from the previous question that was asked, and I would just like to know that since I belong to the Faculty of Social Sciences, and we deal with the long questions, and usually we have a strength of 50 to 60 students in a class. So isn't it taxing for a teacher? Because all along we have been talking about making it okay and comfortable for the students. But isn't it taxing for the teacher to go check subjective type questions manually and editing them? Or is there a kind of a rubric that we can use? Because in our university we have been told to do it in the soft form, prepare a CD, and then submit the result. And I think it is a bit challenging for the teachers, and it's time consuming as well. MCQs are okay, but what about the subjective questions, especially for the people belonging to the Faculty of Social Sciences?
You see, I mean, in our university, the perspective is a different way. We basically, during our exam policy, we advise them that they need to take print out of that, the paper and then had to submit because, you see, at midterm level, that exam, internal exam level, I mean, most of the university, the papers are not needed to be submitted to a controlled examination, but the terminal exam, that is mandatory. You need a evidence-based, paper for that. You see, we initially proposed that a teacher has to take print of that, and initially the feedback we got from the Kalyan University's faculty, they said, look, if a question, there is we ask multiple choice question, and we ask, theoretical or short questions, so it will be a tougher task to take print of, 10 pages for 60 students. It's going to cost us a lot of, printing costs and other things, and it will going to generate a lot of, e-waste. So what then we advise them alternatively that they need to download. There is a possibility. Again, I'll focus on Microsoft Team. In Microsoft Team, there is a one-click option that you can download the paper of the student, and all you need to just save it into a folder. We propose them that all those mentors or teachers, they need to download that attempted paper, and then they have to save it in a PDF form. And of course, like you said, then they have to, submit in a soft copy form to the, departmental chairperson, and then he'll submit to the, control examination. We advise them there should be 3 level of record because it's challenging to keeping soft record sometimes because there is, number of viruses, there's a number of chances of hacking, but this is a possibility just to avoid the printing cost. But of course, as I earlier said, this is not a normal situation, and we are praying and we are wishing that this won't last long. We are hoping that we soon resume that physical, teaching and physical assessment. So this is unprecedented situation. So we have to, what I feel for myself as a faculty, because I am also associate professor in microbiology as well, because I always, tell myself, look, you have to come out of your, box. You have to think out of your box to meet this, challenging situation. So I would suggest, we all need to think beyond that regular framework. just to ensure, this thing. But I agree, different universities have different, policies, and there is always some brains who formulate such policies. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you,
Saad. That
Dr.
was a really
Ishtiaq.
informative session. Thank you.
Thank you. I mean, I know it's such an exciting afternoon. I'm sitting on the computer since 1:30, and just I took a cup of tea because there was a great conference of same nature by the Government College Women University Faisalabad, and of course today lecture was so intriguing. Murza News, you want to say something, Murza?
First of all, I would like to extend thanks to both the honorable panelists and making us it's very productive session. And we have also included them in our permanent WhatsApp group, and they would be permanently available to guide our, you can say, master trainers, and we are going to benefit from their expertise on permanent basis. And thank you very much, sir, to you as well, because you're also spending a lot of time and conducting in a very efficient way. And it's a great honor that such a great academics is conducting all these sessions in a very efficient and very effective way. And thank you very much for all the participants as well, that they are still sitting in the session, although our time is over, but we are trying our level best that our participants should avail of the expertise from all across the world, and that is the, you can say, main core objective of this master trainer workshop.
Murza, thank you. Basically, I am learning without paying tuition fee. So this is time because we train these young people. So this is time to get back. It's such an exciting to learn a lot more things. So anyway, I think we will continue this one. It's not like, I mean, we do a regular seminar series. We will be having a pick some random day, like Dr. Ishtiaq was telling, like how he can use this Microsoft team to conduct the quizzes. So there will be a 15-minute demo, okay, how it is done. So for a lot more people who don't know, they can get it. And same was like, I think there are a lot more ideas coming up. And the people in the group, they can guide us, they can advise us, they can help us. I think it's the first of its type that you brought this thing up. And it will be, inshallah, looks like it will be something very big. So all colleagues from Pakistan, so I wish all of you a very happy Independence Day tomorrow. So people from other parts of the world, so tomorrow we are celebrating our Independence Day. So it will be a holiday, but I mean, of course, we all will be at our institution. So everybody else, so just enjoy your day, afternoon, evening, or whatsoever you have it. Thank you very much for being with us. And bye now.